So last night I had a late meeting I had to go to. When I got home, it was about 7:45, and almost all my kids were there, even the two that are married and don't live at home anymore. And they showed up before the night was over. And I just sat there watching all my kids just goof around, have fun. My youngest are now 18. My oldest, I think, is 31 or 32. 32. He's married. My 30-year-old son is married. Four kids at home, just all getting along, having so much fun together. And it reminded me of why Shelley did what she did and how she created a world where they could thrive and where they would turn into great adults, even though they were really challenging kids. And sometimes I forget because I see them now and I go, dang, boy, man, I am so blessed. I'm so lucky to have the kids I have. And just watching them reminded me of two stories that I wrote in the Shelley Method book that I just recently released, ShelleyMethod.com, if you're interested in going checking it out. But one of the stories was a mom who was patient most of the time, but she was bottling up her frustration, and then she said she would snap, and this was her problem. She would be quiet, she would bottle everything up, she would get more and more frustrated, and then she would snap, and she didn't like that. And Shelley shared with her a technique that Shelley had developed. It's in the book. And she started implementing it. And so that instead of getting frustrated, she was managing those challenges differently. And she wasn't snapping because she wasn't bottling everything up. And the real tipping point for this mom, she told Shelley, was at one point, one of her little boys came to her. She was doing something in the kitchen. And he walked up to her and said, you know what, Mom? And the mom said, what? And he said, we like the new mom better. And she said, she laughed. And then when the little boy walked away, she cried. Because she had learned to manage those challenges in a different way through a few simple techniques that Shelley had taught her. But that wasn't the coolest one. What really was cool last night was the second story I thought of, which was a mom who was getting triggered and leaving her husband to manage things. When she would just get too angry, she would just leave and say, I can't take it anymore. And she would leave, and she didn't like that. She wanted to be responsible and not be triggered into such a bad place. Shelley shared a technique. About a week later, this mom called Shelley and said, recently my husband came in the kitchen and he wrapped his arms around my waist and hugged me tight, and he said, you know what I love about you most? And she said, what? And he said, I love the mom you're becoming. Great stuff. Have a great day. Bye.